This is now a recording on the discussions on irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, still part of our gastrointestinal conditions medical surgical series. Okay, what is an irritable bowel syndrome or IBS? You might have experienced at certain points in your lives, class, when you had some discomforts in the stomach. Nagka-GI upset lang mo kalit. And then pag CR ninyo na okay raman pud mo. And this happened several times. Pag daga ninyo sa CR, nahabwa siya, then you're fine. You cannot say that's diarrhea. Kaya kung diarrhea, you pass out stools 3, 4, 5, or 6 times or even more. Pero kaning sa IBS, nilain lang yun kalit ang imuhang tiyan. Na akay nakaon, bag-o siya para nimo, then nag-CR ka, pag CR nimo, na okay ra pug ka. Without even knowing that that was already an irritable bowel syndrome. Kung tanaw nimo ang pangan, murag irritable bowel syndrome, murag magmaka-ICU ang pangan, murag lawom kaayo ang iyang pangalan. But actually, all of us at certain points in our lifetime has had experiences of GI upset of an unknown cause. Irritable bowel syndrome, class, is a condition which is characterized by recurrent, balik-balik, and sudden nga onset of GI upset. But not only that, class, the GI upset must be one that is not linked to any anatomical defect, not linked to any biochemical causes. Meaning to say, yes, naglain imong tiyan, pero ang paglain sa imong tiyan, dili siya related into something of pathologic origin. Dili siya something nga makaingon kag naabarong kay cancer sa stomach, di ka kaingon na kay ulcer, di ka kaingon na ay malabsorption syndrome. In fact, for you to have IBS, you must be negative of all these things. Naglain imong tiyan, ngano man, naunsa man, ambot, wa jud ta kay balo, pero naglain imong tiyan. So, this is something, class, in which a person experiences sets of GI upset symptoms that is not rooted to any anatomical or biochemical problems. Yang anong nagka-GI upset man, sir, nga wa man kay problema. The only problem there, linked to it, class, is there must be some forms of miscommunication between the brain and the GIT. So an IBS is a miscommunication between the brain and the GIT. Remember, class, that the gastrointestinal tract is autonomic. The peristaltic wave we have at the bowel is autonomic, meaning it moves or it functions on its own. It digests food on its own without the verbal command of the person concerned. No one tells his stomach, oy, digest ko diha. Oy, contract ko din ha. Oy, pangutot ko din ha. You do not tell your bowel to do all these things. And because this happens, somebody must be in control. Who is in control? It is your brain. So the brain takes control over the different functions in the GIT automatically. That's why we call it as an autonomic nervous function. Okay? This miscommunication, class, is linked to some problems or imbalance in the levels of your serotonin. And because the cause is unknown, something must have triggered it. So, klaro na, class, that the cause of your irritable bowel syndrome is unknown. Okay? The cause is unknown. While it is unknown, it is linked to a GI and a brain miscommunication. Wa magkasinabot ang imong utok o ang imuhang tiyan. Such that, when you might have experienced a phone call between A to B, si A o si B nag-istorya, si brain o si GIT nag-istorya, but suddenly the communication lines become static or the communication lines become suddenly choppy. So the message is not conveyed properly. That is what happens here. Okay? So the cause is unknown, however, it is linked to some triggering factors. What could have been these different triggering factors? Number one, these triggers could be in the form of stress. It could be in the form of stress, in the form of anxiety, or in the form of emotional upset. Okay? Ang cause, unknown. Okay? Pero pwedeng matrigger, pwedeng motukar kung ang usa ka tao nikalit na exposed into stress, anxiety, or emotional upset. This could also be triggered by infection, kanang imong gastritis, kanang imong amoebiasis, kanang imong cholera. These are infections of the GIT that could trigger an IBS, or it could be triggered by certain kinds of foods. And commonly, the foods referred to are foods which are gas-forming foods. Unsa may mga gas-forming foods? Fruits, bawal ka. Legumes, bawal ka. Okay? Kamote, bawal ka. Using a straw when you drink drinks. Okay? Maka-form na siya og gas. Popcorn, maka-cause na siya og gas. Yogurt, maka-cause na siya og gas. So these foods could become a trigger for IBS, but then again, let me emphasize, these are not causes of IBS because up to this day and age, the cause of IBS remains to be unknown. Okay? So there's a cause, there are triggering factors that could cause a certain imbalance in your serotonin levels. Ang serotonin class is a neurotransmitter. Siya na ang mo-send og message. Siya na ang suguon sa utok para buhaton sa stomach kani siya. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that regulates bowel movements or peristaltic waves. Si serotonin ana. But because of IBS, the cause is unknown. And because of these triggers, there becomes an imbalance in serotonin resulting in two effects. What are these two effects? Number one, altered or impaired GI motility. Or number two, hypersensitivity of the visceral. Okay? Visceral hypersensitivity. We also call this class as hyperalgesia. Okay? And these are now what has caused problems in IBS. Duha. Unsa to? Number one, you have altered GI motility. And number two, hypersensitivity of the visceral muscles called as hyperalgesia. Now, kung na-imbalance sa imuhang serotonin, the way that the peristalsis moves is quite affected. Trabaho man na sa serotonin. Unya kay na-imbalance man siya. So the way that the GI moves is somehow affected. Sometimes it could be slow, sometimes it could be fast. Now, unsa may epekto kung paspas or hinay ang GI motility? Remember class, this is your colon. Ascending, transverse, descending, sigmoid. And inside the colon are fecal matters. Remember that the colon or part of the large intestine is responsible for reabsorption of water. Meaning to say, if the GI motility is affected, it could be fast, it could be slow. Such that if the motility is too fast, did the colon have sufficient time to reabsorb the water it was supposed to reabsorb? Di ba dili? That's why it comes out to be watery in the form of diarrhea. If the GI motility conversely is affected such that it becomes too slow, hinay ang dagan sa imuhang large intestine, then there is so much time for the large intestine to reabsorb water, causing it to become constipated. That's why when you look at your books or when you try to Google your irritable bowel syndrome, you seem to see different kinds of IBS. Na ay IBS-C, na ay IBS-D, nasa IBS-M. Meaning to say, there's an irritable bowel syndrome that makes you constipated, there's an irritable bowel syndrome that makes you have diarrhea, or you could have a mix of both. You call it as IBS mix or IBS-M. But these classifications class are purely reliant on the affectations to the GI motility. Akong balikon. Ang cause sa IBS, nganong nagka-GI upset ka, wag gyud ta kahibalo. Up to this day and age, the cause is unknown. But we know what could have triggered it. Most commonly, the triggering factors are those that could cause formations of gases, such as fruits, legumes, kamote, popcorn, using straws when you eat, yogurt. Those are gas-forming foods. Okay? This could also be caused by infection, stress, emotional upset. And then because of all this, taken all together, there seems to be an imbalance in serotonin. Ang serotonin, maumanay suguon sa utok nga kuan na gutong GI dito, siya manay suguon. Unya kay naamang kay imbalance, that is where the miscommunication happens between the brain and the GIT. Now, with the imbalance in serotonin, number 1, unsay epekto? Altered ang imong GI motility. Kung paspas ra, di masuyop ang tubig, diarrhea ang resulta. Kung hinay ra, masuyop pag-ayo ang tubig, ang resulta, constipation. But that's just one part. Another effect class of an imbalance in serotonin is that your bowel seems to become hypersensitive to any irritants or hypersensitivity to normal conditions. We call that as hyperalgesia. Kamo class, naniud to mangyud mo ganina. Pag paniud to ninyo, ni sakit ba ang inyong tiyan? Wala. Pero kung nakay IBS, musakit ba ang imong tiyan? Yes. Nga naman, what makes the difference? Because kamo, wala mo'y visceral hypersensitivity. Ang IBS na ay visceral hypersensitivity. Meaning, those conditions that could not have caused abdominal cramps or discomfort will cause you abdominal cramps and discomfort. Nga naman, ang okay raunta, sensitive man karon. Nganong sensitive man karon, imbalance man ang serotonin. In fact, gamay nga hangin sa imong tiyan, okay raman ta. Pero kung hypersensitive ka, even the small gas in the bowel could cause abdominal cramps and abdominal pain. Meaning to say, a person with IBS is a person with, number 1, diarrhea. Number 2, constipation. Number 3, abdominal cramps. Di ba naarang tulo? Di managikan sa imbalance in serotonin, causing the miscommunication between the brain and your gastrointestinal tract. Now the question, class, is, how do we know whether or not ang usa ka tao na ay IBS? Dili man ni parihas sa uban sakit, class. Let's say, TB, sputum exam. Cancer, biopsy. Diabetes, fasting blood sugar or HbA1c. Kani, class, ang IBS, wa man tay matest ani kay in fact you have to be negative of anatomical, negative of biochemical, di ba? Wa tay tanawon. Dapat negative gani ka anang mga butanga. So how do we know whether a person has IBS? We simply look into the symptoms. Okay? Ingon ang inyong libro, the symptoms should be present in the past 3 months consisting in 3 days, manifesting 2 out of 3. Sayunan ka, ang sulti sa libro. Murag ako kung naglibog ko kung sabot, ang sayang pasabot. In the 3 months preceding, a person has manifested a 3-day-long GI upset consisting in 2 out of 3 symptoms. Maunay sulti sa libro, class. Ako siyang gisimplify. Nakakita ko, simple ra ang message sa libro. To diagnose IBS, you simply do 3, 3, 3. Once say 3, 3, 3. Kinahanglan ko no, in the past 3 months, sa niaging tulo ka buwan, in our case now, today is February. So pag January, December, o November, sa niaging tulo ka buwan, doon na ba kay tag tulo ka adlaw, 3-day long, na GI upset consisting in 2 out of 3 symptoms. Otherwise stated, unsa man ka, sir, pag January, nagka-GI upset ka? Yes. Pila ka adlaw? Tulo. Pag December, sir, nagka-GI upset ka? Yes. Pila ka adlaw, sir? Tulo. Pag November, sir, nagka-GI upset ba ka? Yes. Pila ka adlaw, sir? 5. So you see, in December, November, and January, there had been at least 3 days of GI upset. 5 days, 3 days, 3 days in the case sa atong example. So nipasar siya sa pangutana, but that's not it. The GI upset must be 2 out of the 3 symptoms of IBS. Number 1, there must be a change in the frequency of the bowel. Tag-usa ra ka makalibang, pero ni aging buwan, maabot og tag-pito ang imong kalibang. Niabot og tag-upat, tag-tulo imong kalibang. So that is a change in the frequency. Nausap ang kadaghanon. Or, wa jud ka nalibang sulod sa tulo ka adlaw. That's a change in the frequency. Aside from that, you could look into a change in the appearance of the feces. Kung sa kada adlaw ang imong feces murag iba na alawi, unya kalit lang tulo ka adlaw murag melay cantiveros, na change ang structure, di ba? Na change ang appearance, something is wrong. Or number 3, there is relief after defecation. Nawagtang ba ang paglain sa tiyan pag human nimo og kalibang? Now the question is, if you have had a manifestations of duha out aning tulo for 3-day period sa niaging tulo ka buwan, then you are positive for IBS. Quite unique, right? Kay sa uban nga mga testing na amantay i-test nga mo positive ka mo na imong sakit. Kanilahi history ang imong pangutan-on sa niaging tulo ka buwan, do na ba kay nag-abot og tulo ka adlaw nga GI upset consisting in 2 out of 3. Appearance, frequency, and relief after defecation. Now, knowing what IBS is and knowing how to diagnose IBS, let's entertain the question, how do we manage IBS? Number 1, the best thing to give as nurses or to advise to a patient with IBS is to advise the intake of fiber. And fiber must consist in 30 grams per day. Okay? Unsa man ang fiber? Kanagong mga psyllium, kanagong mga utanon, these are fiber. Now, should fiber be given during constipation only? Or during diarrhea only? Or depending whether it's diarrhea or constipation, one must be given with fiber? Fiber must always be given whether naa kay diarrhea or constipation. Ngano man class? Because fiber is like a sponge. Kung sa imuhang bowel kani dire, og butangan ko nag sponge din ha class, the fiber. And this seems to be diarrhea or watery. What does the sponge do to the excess water in the bowel? Di ba it absorbs? Therefore relieving the diarrhea. And remember that fiber improves the peristaltic wave of the bowel, improving or relieving you of constipation. That's why fiber is not just for constipation. It's not just for diarrhea, but it is for both diarrhea and constipation. Number 2, you need to manage stress. Unsaon man na pag-manage ang stress, sir? Di ba class, stress here is a triggering factor. So how do we manage stress now? You just simply look for things that begin with letter S. So may mga letter S. Sports, siesta, sleep, socialization, di ba? Social media, shopping, sexual intercourse. Oh. Di ba? Kung masigig kag-ana, stress ka. Mawa ang stress? Yes. Ingon man ang libro. Di ba? So, mas daghan kag anak, mas kadaghan ka nagpawala sa imong stress. Sips of coffee. Oh, ingon ana. So, ingnon gani mo, sige lang magdog din ha. Magbuot man ka, stressful man ang nursing. So, wala na yung rason ha. Padlongon gani mo sinong ginikanan ing naingon magud si Attorney Gab. Aron di ko magka-inflammatory irritable bowel syndrome, kinahanglan ako i-relieve akong stress. Pero sex is just one of the many. Ha? Pwede man mo mag-shopping. Pwede man mo mag-scatter. Oh, letter S. Letter. Oy, ayaw na ninyo buhat ha. Wala ba ta mama? Wala ba ta bayri anang advertisement ana? Okay. So fiber, stress management, what else? Diet modification. Unsa may atong usabon sa atong diet class? What must we avoid? Di ba we must avoid foods that are gas-forming because gas-forming foods are triggers. So naakay pasyente nga na irritable bowel syndrome, moingon baka, ma'am, it's best that you eat lots of fruits. Well, it may sound good, but not to a patient with irritable bowel. Why? Because fruits are generally gas-forming. Okay? You can also give antidepressants. Okay? Antidepressants help you regulate your levels of serotonin. Di na musod ang antidepressants. Or you can also give antispasmodics. Asa man idapita ang antispasmodics? Sa GI motility or sa hypersensitivity? Dito sa visceral hypersensitivity, di ba? Magka-abdominal cramps or spasm ka from the normal amounts of food or from the normal amounts of gas. Okay, to relieve that, you give antispasmodics. And you may also give probiotics. Di ba ang probiotics class naaman na sa yogurt? Will you advise yogurt? No, because yogurts are gas-forming. Naman tayo mga probiotics nga dritso na like Ursiflora. In fact, these are the medications we must take when we have diarrhea. Ayaw mong inom og loperamide, no? Imodium, ayaw mo anang diatabs. Sir, ingon man ang libro. Yes, ingon ang libro loperamide, but this should be taken during when people are in transit, for example, or on occasions, for example, naabaron ka sa eroplano, unya, moingon man nagpasen your seatbelt niya, kalibangon man kay ka, musupak juday ka. So, saan man na? You drink your mga anti-diarrheals. But class, anti-diarrheals do not treat diarrhea, ha? Do not treat diarrhea. Ngano nagka-diarrhea man ang usa ka tawo? Because this is the body's attempt to get rid of the toxins or bacteria in the GIT. Kay hugaw man na sila, ingon ang utok, ikalibang na. If you take loperamide or diatabs, will you be able to excrete them? Dili. So what happens there? Makutkot na naskagaw ang inyong mga tinae diha. So let it go. Ba? Mo na siya, dili na maayo nga magsigimog mga anti-diarrheal. You use it only kung naamoy lakaw, naamoy occasions, mga ingon-ana ra nga mga conditions. Okay? So that's irritable bowel syndrome. A question now might be, is this a board area? Yes. In fact, this has been asked in 2014. 5 questions in 2014. What were those questions? Just to show you. Okay? Which of the following is the most appropriate nursing intervention that you will have to include if the patient has irritable bowel syndrome? Is it letter A, prepare the patient for long-term corticosteroid therapy? Mag-steroids ba ta sa irritable? Class steroids are given as immunosuppressants to patients with autoimmune conditions or anti-inflammatory. This is not an inflammatory bowel condition, but rather an irritable bowel syndrome. Okay? B, encourage identification and to avoid those that could trigger the symptoms. Or C, give antibiotics. Is an irritable bowel syndrome an infection? O sa may hinungdanan niya? Mycobacterium tuberculosis? Sa may hinungdanan ni? Ha? Cholera? Ha? Or letter D, ayaw gyud og inom og tubig hangtod di ka maayo. Oh. Tanaw ninyo. Hey, UC Banilad answers A, B, C, or D? Oh, saktong UC Banilad ha. Oh. Ano to? Next question. Matubag bagyapos UC Banilad. In IBS, what pathophysiologic mechanism explains why it occurs? Is it because of letter A, na ay inflammation or paghubag sa imong mucosa? Uy, paghubag sa mucosa is an inflammatory bowel disease. Is it letter D, reduced absorption of nutrients due to venous atrophy? Musupak yung taga-UC ani. Kaya mo ingon dyan ng mga taga-UC nga di man na IBS, kuhan man na. Atrophic changes in the small intestine causing malabsorption. Ingon ang UC Manila, diverticulosis ko no. Pero ilang ginisan? Celiac ko no. Celiac. Ha? Letter C, obstruction of the intestinal lumen. Naabay pagbara? Ha? Volvulus ba na siya? Wala. Or there's an imbalance in serotonin affecting GI motility and visceral sensitivity. O di mga hilas na kayo mo, kay nitanaw mo sa kong video. Okay, ang answer is letter B. This is because of imbalance in serotonin which alters the communication between the brain and the GIT, causing two problems. One, altered GI motility, and two, visceral hypersensitivity. Okay? So that ends our discussion on irritable bowel syndrome. Okay?